My name is Liwa Abou Mrad, and I would analyze Lifeline Australia's Spring 2017 campaign, A Lifeline for Lifeline. As a reminder, Lifeline provides suicide prevention services through a permanent phone line. The campaign started in September 2017 and is still active in order to promote a fundraising event that will take place on November 1st. Let's start with a strategic approach. In terms of message strategy, the NGOs try to communicate a service message to a specific target. Men and women between 25 and 40 living in big Australian cities such as Sydney or Melbourne and usually working as executives. Also, the key insight was that when donating for suicide causes, people's deepest motivations remain in the fact that they cannot themselves keep their relatives safe from suicide and rely on institutions that can do that on their behalf. According to Charles Fraser, the different types of message strategy used in his campaign are: resonance. The real-life stories used might remind some people of relatives they lost through suicide in the past. Affective. Lifeline reminds the audience that suicide is a serious issue in Australia and that it could affect one of their relatives. Lifeline directly tap into the consumer insight. These people, whether they relate to suicide or not, want to keep it from happening again or from happening at all. This is why they're going to donate to an institution that can do that on their behalf in a more effective way. Concerning the big idea, it is difficult to prevent your relatives from committing suicide, and Lifeline can make it less difficult. This big idea perfectly fits with the consumer key insight. Lifeline can evaluate the success of its campaign in different ways. For its online tools, Lifeline should rely on quantitative indicators such as number of visits, number of impressions, coverage, interaction indicators such as clicks, click-through rates, conversion rates, hashtag uses. For its posters, it can use it in query tests, recall tests, and overall, Lifeline can see how much money was raised and how many people donated. Let's talk about the creative strategy. In terms of appeals, a rational one is used when Lifeline gives the cost of saving a life. The viewer is encouraged to do calculations and realize that it is technically easy to save a life. Concerning the emotional appeals, affection is used when Lifeline tries to make the cause relatable for its audience through real-life stories. A fear appeal is also used with the use of statistics that prove the importance of the issue in Australia. It could happen to anyone's relatives. This fear increases the message acceptance and directly tap into the consumer insight. Finally, the humor appeal appears with the absurd situations staged in the ads. It captures the audience's attention and increases recall scores. However, it is hard to connect it with the consumer insight and it overpowers the main message of the campaign. The tone of the voice in the ad is serious, dramatic, bringing us back to the fear appeal and consumer insight.
A lifeline for Lifeline.
The audience needs to help Lifeline now before it happens to one of their relatives. For the creative tactics, the humor of the campaign relies on three things: the contrast between comic and serious elements that also make it visually more attractive, the repetitive comic scenes that each features a new different character, and sonorities. Each character uses a different voice and tone that make them sound awkward.
So it's not Toga Day?
Cobra Day!
So I've been talking like this for nothing.
So it's not Meat Monday?
I thought it was Get a Tattoo Day. Damn.
However, this comic vibe is topped at the end by a serious and dramatic voice calling for donations.
On November 1, all you have to do is give.
This tone breakup increases the message impact and tap into the consumer insight, but it might happen too late because the message has already been overpowered by the funny part of the ad. Along with this change of tone, a big message written in a squared and bold font appears with the Lifeline logo on its side. Viewers finally discover for which cause they would donate. The problem here is that they would focus more on the not so clear message and not on the relatively discreet logo. In terms of alternative approaches, Lifeline could have made its logo present during the whole ad in the bottom left corner, showed a more explicit message at the end about the cause, shortened the comic part of the ad to not let it overshadow the message, and film another version of the ad in a different workplace. Concerning its media strategy, Lifeline uses online tools, especially social medias like Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, through a series of posts containing videos, real stories and facts about suicide. Along with the hashtag Lifeline for Lifeline, the NGOs reaches the youngest group of its target who's very active on social medias. But social medias are only effective to target young people and not older audiences. The posters used by Lifeline in work environments are the perfect way to reach the identified target. Executives go to work every day and will be repeatedly exposed to the ad. It is also a cheap way of transmitting a message, but its impact might be limited since it is visual only. Lifeline could have used other medias like TV, a quicker way of reaching a large number of people, and also an older audience that have not been reached by the online campaign. However, it is very expensive and allows low selectivity. Newspapers are also a way of targeting office working people. While they reach a large audience for a low cost, they have a short lifespan, remain only visual in terms of content, and are therefore not very effective to display humor or fear appeals.